Hi, my love. Rose here with the Cackling Moon. This is going to be your 3-question tarot reading. So this is going to be a lengthy reading. 3 questions can be anywhere from like 45 to an hour. So just kind of get comfortable. Get yourself a snack. Get yourself something to drink. I might have to cut this into 2 parts so that the video isn't too long to upload on YouTube, but if I do cut it, that's why. So if you see it like fade in, fade out to another another video or whatever, another part, that's why. But other than that, if we have no interruptions, then this should be a pretty good video reading. I'm going to be working with some oracle decks, different ones. I have the Wisdom of the House of Night. I also have the Victoria Francis Oracle. I have the Halloween Tarot, and I might pull like 1 or 2 other decks out from the pile, but for now, I think these decks would be good to work with. This is going to be, like I said, 3 questions, so we're just going to jump right into the first one. Number 1, you are wanting to get in touch with your biological father, but you do not know anything about him, and you would like some advice about that situation. So I'm going to pull the energy of the situation first. And then we'll just like continue on and go into it. I don't use any spreads for the mini or the 1, 2, or 3 question readings. So I just pull cards and it's an intuitive reading. Just in case you guys are wondering. Ooh, okay. So let's look at the energy of this situation. Okay, I like to pull in 3s, so let's just do that. So we have strength, confidence, and stability. That's at the core. Going with the flow. I love it. And then we also have change, a new path, and decisions. I love it. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, the energy of these cards is telling me this would be a breath of fresh air. I apologize for the glare. I had to open the window just a little bit more so that the room doesn't get too dark. So I'm sorry for the glare. The cards are telling me that the decision of you wanting to get into contact with the biological father is placed on you for a reason. There's no reason for you to have thought about it if there was no purpose in it. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why you feel called to. It's kind of like your intuition. It could be like your guides. Spirit is just putting that on your heart to do it for a reason. So we have strength, Ace of Pumpkins, and the Page of Imps. I love it. So what I'm seeing here, the energy of this is like, it's going to be for one, it's a stable decision, but you yourself need to come from an inner place of confidence, having the confidence, the strength, and being grounded before you do this. Okay. I feel like that's going to be really, really important for you to reach out, to feel more confident about your decision to reach out and to connect with him. You need to be in a place of peace in your mind, in your heart, and in your body. Okay. So don't do this if you're feeling like all over the place, you're feeling anxiety. It's going to be normal and natural to feel, you know what? Let me close the window. It's going to bug me. Let me just turn on the light. Hopefully that'll help. Sorry, my love. I think I'll just do that instead. Because that glare is not... I am not having that. Okay. You need to be in a place of stability in order for you to feel comfortable to connect. And then also it'll just be a good thing to be in that good state of mind, okay? Change, new path, and decisions is what's popping up in the future times. To me, this is kind of saying that you guys are going to have the ability to see, to move on, okay? To move on and to move towards a new path together, okay? It may also allow you to move forward with your own life without all of the questions of what if, okay? So it could, to me, it looks like it's going to be a good thing for you. The going with the flow card is coming up behind you as you are stable and you're feeling emotionally, mentally, physically stable, grounded, and ready to do this. Going with the flow is kind of saying you need to just allow yourself to let things happen as they are meant to happen. You can't control the outcome, but you can control your ability to start the search, okay? To initiate contact. You know what I mean? So you can start that. Like you can, let's say you get a hold of his phone number. You can have control over yourself phoning him, you know, giving him a phone call or texting him or sending him an email or whatever. You can initiate contact. But there is going to come a point where you have to go with the flow of it. If he wants to initiate conversation with you, go with the flow of it. But don't force anything to happen. Now, Ace of Pentacles is coming up at the core, which is an opportunity, okay? So I feel like he would be welcoming to you contacting him. I feel like, you know, he's not going to push you away. I don't feel that. So I do feel like he would be welcoming to the idea. But we also have to keep in mind, you don't know where he's at right now, what's going on in his life, and vice versa. So you can't have so many expectations. I want you to kind of have little to no expectations as you go into this. You're literally going into it blind and you're going with the flow. You're trusting your vibe. You're trusting your intuitions. You have strength at your back. So it's going to be really important for you to have a support system through this process. If you have a friend that you truly can trust, that maybe you can let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And maybe you just need that support system. So I don't suggest telling the world that you're doing this. But if you do have that one friend or that couple of friends that you know you can really trust, it would be really helpful for you to have a support system through this process. Okay. The other thing I'm seeing is with the Page of Imps. Pages are children. It's children energy. So the fact that came up made me smile because this is your mentality here. And the way that your father would see you as. Your father will probably, if he has ever thought of you, is thinking of you not as the woman that you are today, but as the baby, okay? As the child. Because he probably never had the ability to see you as a full-blown adult. You know what I mean? Also, this is childhood stuff. Childhood, these are issues that you need, that may come up for you, that you will need you to put focus and time and attention on, okay? Healing, okay? There may be a reason why you feel called to connect with your biological father is because maybe your child self is craving that affection, is craving that connection, or craving answers, okay? To have closure for certain things. And then also I feel like with the page that could be coming up as like your ability to solve some of those open wounds that you have that you don't even know how to heal from because you don't have that connection with him. Okay. So I do feel like there's going to be a lot of like, childhood stuff that will be, solved, that will be answered, some questions, you know what I mean? It's like you're filling in the blanks. Because I can only imagine you've probably had so many questions and no answers, and not even a face to put to him. You know what I mean? So the way you were raised, whoever raised you, those were your people. But it's always probably been on your mind. There was another person on this planet that helped create you, and I can understand why you would want to have that connection. Or attempt to make that connection. But I feel like it would also be safe that when you go into making this connection, that you go with a mind of little to no expectations. Because if you go into this with a lot of expectations and he doesn't fulfill those, and it's not his responsibility to fulfill those expectations because that's all within your mind, that could be a heavy thing to deal with on top of all of everything else. Okay. I love it. So we got the understanding card. And that's going to help you when you get through actual initial contact with him. Okay. So the whole thing is you got to place yourself in his shoes with that understanding card. Understanding why would he be, non-existent in your life. Okay. Instead of looking at it from your perspective, try to place yourself in his shoes and see why. Answer those questions of why would he leave me, or why would he not be in my life, you know? And place yourself in that to get to gain an understanding of where he's coming from. This would also come in handy after the initial meeting. Maybe you two will finally meet up and you'll have lunch and you sit down and talk. And then you'll start to gather and a feeling of him. And then you can start going through that process of understanding the situation from his perspective versus your own perspective. Because your own perspective can come from a source of hurt, a source of anger, which is understandable. I don't blame you. But also understanding his perspective too, okay? And then we have fragment, which I'm actually going to read the guidebook definition for the fragment because I feel like this one's going to be a pretty heavy message for you. So this is number 15. Let's see. And another interesting thing, we have 15, 14, 13. Like those numbers were really sticking out to me. That's like your adolescent time, like when you were a teenager. And so perhaps that's when some of this hurt started to happen, okay? When you were like a teenage girl and you were going through life without a father figure, or without knowing anything about your biological father. And so maybe that's where a lot of this childhood stuff starts to come out of the woodwork, okay? That's when you kind of really started to question, you know, who this person is. So we have fragment, and the guidebook says, family, friends, work, study activities can all seem unrelated to each other. My child, you are always whole. Even if at times things feel separate and fragmented, that is only an illusion. Choosing this symbol reminds you that all the moving parts of your life are important. If the one you're asking about seems confusing, focus on the one that brings you clarity. Be here now and know that I love you and see you as beautiful and whole, regardless of how disconnected things may seem. Also, remember to take a step back when you're trying to understand something. You may be looking at only one piece of the puzzle, which is what I was saying with this. You have to put yourself in his shoes. A fragment of the truth. See the big picture through my eyes, and no matter what, all is well. So you're really being guided to see the situation from his perspective, and even from your mom's perspective too, you know? There's a lot of things there, because you even mentioned, you know, your relationship with your mother, but also why has she kept certain things from you? So you have to put yourself in her shoes too, and understand maybe she went through a lot of pain as well and didn't want you to go through that. And then put yourself through your biological father's shoes too, to see maybe and to kind of answer your questions of why he is the way that he is. Okay? So I do feel like this is something that you can move forward with. I do feel like you definitely should. You should question, ask, see what happens. You said you don't know anything about him, which, you know, understandably so, but don't let that keep you from initially trying to make contact. So let me just pull on that real fast. Now, obviously, I can't pull and tell you where he is or, you know, all of that, but I can, so that wants to come out. I can give you the energy of that, you know, like contacting him. Okay. So we have the Hermit card, which is the first card that fell out. And to me, the Hermit card is saying this is like solo energy, that he's very much hermit vibe, okay? So he spends a lot of time alone. He may live alone. He may not be married. And I feel like the Hermit energy is kind of saying he's a recluse. Like he's not a big social person. He's just kind of keeps to himself. We have the King of Imps coming up, and then we have the Three of Imps, or the Three of Wands. This is a lot of fire energy, so he could be a fire sign himself. But I also feel like he may also have a lot of water in his chart, so I kind of feel like he opposes himself a lot. A King of Wands could be a womanizer, okay? I'm going to flat out say it. It could be a womanizer, and that may be how he was when your mother met him, okay? And also womanizers, like a King of Wands in reverse is what I would see him as. Can be just an individual who maybe he just wasn't mature enough to handle a family. He just kind of liked to have fun. He would meet and mingle with women and this and that, and stuff happened. But a King of Wands can be definitely somebody who likes to womanize and all of that. I feel like he's since learned a lot of his lessons with that Hermit card popping up. It's almost like karma hit him in the ass. Okay, so I feel like he did have a young life of fun and doing his thing, but I feel like now he's kind of paying for it. You know what I mean? Like karma is coming back to collect on all of the bad choices that he made in his past. The Three of Imps to me also says he doesn't stay put in one place for too long. So he's probably moved quite often in his lifetime. The Three of Wands can also say he's always looking out for the next best thing. Or maybe he does think about the things that he's done in the past and how he can make connections, but he doesn't know how to get there. Okay. So that's just a little bit of some insight on him. When it comes to connecting with him, I feel like your mom will know more about the situation than she holds out. And I feel like by you being able to communicate with your mother, and explain why you feel like you deserve to know, and you're grown, you can do this on your own. She doesn't have to be a part of it. Hopefully she will come around and help you, but there are ways that you can go into locating somebody. You can, do like the whole private investigator type thing. But chances are there's somebody in your family inner circle who does know who he is, where he is, how to get a hold of him. Okay. Number 2. So your next question is, will your relationship with your mom get any better? So let's look into that. And actually, I think I'm going to pull from my Madame and Dora's. Will the relationship with your mom get any better? This one too. So we have the Unicorn, good fortune and friendship. Freaking love it. We have the Dagger, conflict and danger lie in wait. We have the Fire card, reckless actions lead to conflict. Interesting that the Fire card came out, because I just mentioned earlier that I feel like your father is a fire sign, or has that fire energy to him, so that could be why that's popping up. And then we have the Chalice, which is rejuvenation and fulfillment. So I feel like your mom is protecting you, for one thing, for sure. With the Dagger card and the Fire card at the core, I feel like your mom's protecting you from pretty much her past. I feel like there's things that she's ashamed of from her past. And maybe she's just trying to protect you from being hurt, or, resenting her, or looking at her differently for choices that she made. I feel like that's definitely one. The Dagger card is definitely making me feel like the conflict and the danger and lie in wait is that she's protecting you. She's always wanted to protect you, and she may not have always done it in the correct way, but really, is there really a right and wrong way to do things when you're parenting? In my opinion, I feel like there's no perfect parent. She was doing it in the way that she thought was best. But maybe she could have made some better choices. You know what I mean? The Unicorn card coming up, the good fortune and friendship, is telling me that right now you guys are in, I think of unicorns as like, they're obviously mythical creatures. They're like, you know, the rarest of the rare. So the fact that it says good fortune and friendship is saying that this is a rare season for you and your mom. You guys are on good terms. You guys are talking. You guys are much closer than you were before. And when you are able to have a conversation with her, whether it's through text or a phone call or in person, it feels like a unicorn. Like it is just magic. Okay. And like I said, the Dagger and the Fire card, I feel like she's protecting you from your father. She's protecting you from, you know, certain secrets of the family, or there's something there she's protecting you from. But also it's like you're of age now, like you're grown, you can make decisions for yourself. And I feel like once you establish a strong bond and a friendship and forgiveness of your mother and with your mother, she may allow you to do your thing. Okay. And then the Chalice card coming up is rejuvenation and fulfillment, which definitely tells me that there is a future of filling the cup. There is a future of, you know, embracing a stronger relationship with your mother and really having that strong bond with her. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I do see that. We have the Seven of Ghosts coming up. We have the Hermit. Interesting, because there you go. Hermit card is the father. And then we also have the Ten of Ghosts, which is the family card. So I see here, like with your mom knew she had to step in and be both mom and dad when you were growing up. I don't know if you have siblings or whatnot, but there's 7. So maybe you have 6 other siblings, or maybe there's just, you know, a large family. I don't know. But I feel like the 7 of Cups also is that your mom was she had a lot on her plate growing up. She had to grow up fast. I feel like she was a young mom. I feel like she had to go through a lot. And in her form of protection of her children and of you, especially since this is your reading, she had to make some choices. And so 7 of Cups to me are the 7 of Ghosts, but 7 of Cups is a card of choices, making decisions. And sometimes we don't always make the best decisions, right? We're not perfect. We're human beings. So your mom did, she did her best. She was making her choices as she had to. But at the core here, what's at the core is the father energy, is the fact that he was non-existent. He hurt her, you know, she went through her own trials with him. But I feel like because he's popping up a lot here, is saying that he has always been that missing puzzle piece in your guys' bond together. If the longer that she holds him a secret to you, your relationship with your mom will always have, like, if you see this as like, this is you and your mom having this relationship, there's this gaping hole in the middle, and it's him. Okay. So it's like, he's the missing piece. And then we have the 10 of Ghosts, which is, to me, it's my card of like family, community, but it's a family card to me. It's reunions and that kind of thing. So I feel like maybe if you've gone to family reunions in your past and you see how everyone is together, that's when it brings up your feelings of like wishing that you had your own sense of family, or your family dynamic has always been different from maybe some of your friends or people you work with. And so that's always been something that's been on your mind. We have the 2 of Ghosts coming up with this reading for you as a fear card. To me, this is the fear of communication. This is the fear of having that one-on-one talk with your mother. So I do feel like there's a lot of cups here. A lot of cups are water energy with your mom. So there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of feelings that need to flow. There's a lot of forgiveness that needs to happen. There's a lot here. And I feel like it has to start with you and her first. Before you even go behind her back looking for your father, even though you have every right to as an adult, I feel like it's like if you really want to strengthen your bond with your mom, this needs to come first. There's healing that needs to happen here. Apologies. There's stuff that needs to open up. You need to let it out. She needs to let it out. But there's a lot here. There's a lot of emotion. And then eventually I feel like this missing piece is going to come out, and she may be the one to give you the answer to find that missing piece. So I do feel like there definitely is strengthening your bond with your mom first before you proceed with connecting with your biological father. Okay. Totally feel that. I just feel like that's necessary. I think that that's going to be probably the best thing for you. Let me pull a card from the other Oracle deck just to tie it all in and see if there's anything else to come through. That reading really flowed, by the way. I feel like, one, you're very connected. I feel like you're very open. You're very eager to connect and receive answers. And I also feel like your mom too. Like you guys, the two of you have so much more in common than you think. We have oath. I love it. So to me, the oath card, oaths or like a promise, secrets, okay? Your mom's held it in for a long time. She's held it in for a long time. And I feel like it's going to be really hard for her to let it out. So that's why I'm saying your connection, your bond, the friendship, and the forgiveness that needs to happen here first with your mom, before you even start with the father stuff, because your mom's hurting. She has a lot. She has a lot of pain. It's like you have the dagger. It's like the dagger in the heart kind of a thing. I feel like you need to get close with this first, before the next. Okay. So I hope that helped. I hope that answered that question too. What a beautiful reading. That was beautiful. Okay. So let's look at the last question. So number 3, will I be prosperous in my new career? Ooh, let's see. So let me just sage the table just because that was heavy energy, so that we can just kind of go into a fresh new reading on a totally different topic. So will I be prosperous in my new career? So we have the Griffin, honor and good luck. Ooh. The Chalice flew out. That's rejuvenation and fulfillment. And then the Raven, darkness looms on the horizon. So I kind of feel like the energy of the future of the career, you got to keep it positive, okay? What you put into this, you're going to be receiving out of it. I feel like this is kind of a reflection of your energy that you're putting into this. You're really feeling good and hopeful for a positive, prosperous career, but the Raven is almost a reflection of your own fears. It's almost like kind of saying you will not allow yourself to be receiving so much positivity and so many good things coming to you. It's almost like you sit and wait for that bad thing to happen. I say that because I'm guilty of this too. Like, to me, if I have too much of a good thing happening, it almost makes me feel weary that, oh my God, something bad is going to happen. So I feel like that's what that Raven card is saying, like darkness looms on the horizon. It's just kind of like, it's that little piece of negativity that's going to try to fuck up everything else. So that's how I see it. But let's pull some tarot about the career. So let's pull the energy of the career. We have the King of Pumpkins. Yes. And then let's pull on the challenge. Oh, 5 of Bats. So 5 of Bats is the 5 of Swords. Okay. And it's interesting too that it's bats and swords, because swords is your thoughts. And what did I just say about that raven? It's your own negative thinking. Okay. So the energy of your career, King of Pentacles has it under control. A King of Pentacles enters their life, their job, their finances, anything that they do, so grounded. Okay. They are so fruitful. He's so like, he's good with business. He's good with money. He's making money. He's like, you know, he's on it. But if you have those negative mindsets and it's constantly a setback for you, you're going to find yourself constantly challenged in that career path. And so I feel like your biggest enemy here is your thoughts. Okay. That's definitely what I see with that. So let's like pull cards on what can you do to be prosperous and to be, you know, successful in your line of career. So to answer the question, the initial question, will you be prosperous? Yes. But you will also be the source of your own undoing if you continue to allow yourself to make decisions based on your negative thinking. So if you tend to be impulsive and your negative thinking kind of like makes you doubt certain decisions and then you listen to it, then of course you're going to set yourself up, you know? Okay. So what can you do to have a prosperous career? So the Oracle came out. Ooh, the Wizard. And water. I love it. So first things first, the Oracle says, seek wisdom and guidance from elders. So a way to be successful in your career is definitely utilizing people around you who have a lot more experience, okay? Asking questions, networking with other people. Don't be afraid to seek mentorship or just, you know, simply asking. This can also be looked at as taking extra training, or I don't know what it is that you do for work, but if there's more certification that you can get done, if there's a class that you can take, or if there's like, you know, working one-on-one with somebody, that might be in your best interest with the Oracle card. The Wizard is saying use your skills to aid others. So to be prosperous with your career, you got to be helping other people, putting a lot of your focus and attention on other people. And I feel like you're naturally already doing that. But the Wizard is kind of saying, don't get stingy. You know what I mean? Don't become selfish in your line of work simply because if you notice you're making more money or your schedule's changing or you get promoted or whatever it is. Don't lose sight of the initial reason why you started this career path for a reason. Like, why did you start it? If you find yourself kind of falling off the track, you got to remind yourself that, okay? So I do see the Wizard is saying that using your skills to aid others. And the skills is like the key word here. So I feel like your skills is like you have talent and you know you do. And so using your skills, don't be afraid to bring them out. Okay. Don't be afraid to allow your skills to help you be an amazing blah, 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 like whatever it is that you're doing. And then also water energy. So it is emotions, and emotions are at their peak. So when you are feeling emotional, when you're feeling, you know, like maybe the cloud of depression is looming in, you know, your emotions are all over the place, you're not grounded, that kind of thing. That's kind of like a recipe. That's a telling sign that, you know, something negative is on the horizon. So getting comfortable with learning that about yourself, your emotions, getting kind of having control over that as much as you can. If you feel yourself falling into that like downward spiral of depression or doubt, or, you know, just not feeling like, or anxiety, or just not feeling like you have answers, you're going to have to start learning to divert your attention to more productive things instead of using it as being impulsive and doing something impulsive like quitting your job simply because so-and-so yelled at you that day. You know what I mean? Like, don't allow your negative feelings, your depression, or your anxieties be the reason why you walk away from something that you worked so hard for. So don't make impulsive decisions based on your emotions, is what I want to say. So that's like another tip there. So we have the Six of Ghosts that popped up, which is someone from the past coming into the present. But also this could be the way you work with others. It's also a card of like your giving. So like I said, with your line of work, helping other people, don't become selfish in your line of work. You know, always remember where you came from and how hard you worked to get there, to be appreciative of it. So that's definitely going to help you be prosperous. King of Pumpkins. Yep. You definitely have it in you. Absolutely. And then the Seven of Ghosts. Choosing wisely. I also feel like, because some of these cards are kind of repetitive, especially the Seven of Ghosts of like the previous questions I was answering. So I feel like it's also leaving your home life in the home life. Okay? You need to learn to separate your work from your home, your relationships from your work. You know what I mean? You gotta learn to separate the two, because if you're one of those people where you bring your stress to work, that's gonna it's gonna cause problems. So I feel like that. I don't know, for some reason that Seven of Cups was making me think of that, and then also the Six of Ghosts, but. And then we have Vision. So I feel like Vision is kind of saying keeping your eye on the prize, keeping focused on the initial reason why you are doing what you do. Don't lose sight of that, okay? So that's going to help you be prosperous. Understanding. So placing yourself in other people's shoes, understanding, you know, the ways of your job, the policies, that kind of thing. And then letting go. So is letting go like allowing yourself to not have so much control over your job, you know, over the things that you do, allowing things to flow organically. You know, try not to be so strict with your job. Also at the core, now that I look at it as a whole, we have the King of Pentacles as a whore, oh my God, as a whole. The King of Pentacles or the King of Pumpkins, to me, it shows a fruitful career. Okay, you have the potential to have a very fruitful career. That is your core. For sure. But you do have a hell of a lot of water with the cups or the ghosts coming up. A water here, the ghosts, and then you just have like the Vision, which to me is intuitiveness. So that's like water signs too. So it's like your emotions. And when I said you can be the source of your own undoing, I mean that. I really do. Like if you allow your emotions to get the better of you and you let that dictate your job, you'll probably be making the same mistakes that you've made in the past. So you want to break that chain. You want to break that, you know, that habit. I also feel like with letting it go, and then just learning literally to, like I said, separate your home life from work. Leave it at home, you know, deal with it when you get off work. When you're at work, you need to be focused simply on being professional, being a leader, being, you know, bringing in the money, that kind of thing. You have to be more present in the workplace and working on manifesting those things, you know, that confidence and all of that stuff. And then when you're at home, then you deal obviously with the home life stuff, but you got to really learn to separate the two. So we have a little bit more time. Let me, pull just for some advice. Oops. Just some advice. Oops. Fire. The Chariot. And the high priestess of fire. Love it. First off, as advice for you, the fire energy, I'm connecting that to your father. So I do think that that is something that will be manifesting with you. So I do feel like you will be starting the cycle, starting the path, the journey of connecting with your biological father. But I feel like there are some other things that you need to do first before that happens. Okay. But I do see that overall happening. The other thing is of advice, the fire energy says reckless actions lead to conflict. So you need to really pay attention to yourself. When are you becoming reckless? When are you being impulsive? When are you doing things that are self-sabotaging? Okay. You have the tendency to do that when you get sucked into that mindset. So those are things that you need to work on, especially in terms of getting a prosperous and abundant future with your career, but also with your connection with your mother. If she's not ready to talk about something, it could be frustrating for you, but it's also important that you recognize she's gone through her things too, and you may be ready to talk about it, but if she's not, you can't force her, but you can also work on strengthening the bond so that there's more trust there. The high priestess of fire, same thing. Lots of fiery vibes around you. And I feel like it's passions. To me, the fire is passion. So you're very passionate about the things that you want to do. And I feel like that's good. Let that feed you. Let that be a source of energy for you to push you forward, to be good and passionate and motivated in your work stuff, but also passionate and motivated in your connection with your mom. And then, of course, later on, as you start the path of getting connected with your father. Okay. And then lastly, I see the Chariot card. To me, the Chariot is action. It's taking place. It's like it's going on the journey. It's also like I said, it's action. So you're moving, you're doing something about stuff. And I feel like the Chariot is displaying that, like you're getting ready to go on a big journey. This connection, like connecting with your father, is probably one of the biggest things that you will do in your lifetime. Aside from obviously other things like being successful in work and whatnot. But this whole journey of connecting with your father, because I totally see it with those fire cards, is probably going to be one of the biggest things that you will do in your lifetime. It is not to be rushed. And I will say that too, because fire is so consuming. Fire can be very dangerous. It can be very, like I said, raw. Okay. So you need to make sure that one, you yourself are in a good place mentally, physically, emotionally, and then also your mom, like your relationship with your mother. I really say, I put emphasis on your connection with your mom as being more important right now than the connection with your father, because your mom was in your life more so than he was. You know what I mean? So it's like that bond with your mom, to me, in my opinion, is it outweighs the bond with your father. That will happen later on. But you also have to keep in mind, she was with you a hell of a lot longer than he was. So I feel like you just owe it to her. She owes it to you too, but you guys owe it to each other to reconnect and strengthen that bond together before you go off and search for him. Okay. But yeah, I just want to say, for one thing, my love, thank you so much for letting me connect with you. I feel like these readings that I did for you are so strong. I feel like you have such beautiful energy. You have really strong energy with you. And I feel literally like emotionally exhausted right now. So I know it's because it was a big reading that I did, but I also feel like tapping into your energy, I feel exhaustion. And so I wanted to say that is that I feel like you need to slow down. I feel like you need to really connect on a deep level with yourself, ground yourself first, and then start tackling each thing, each area of your life that you want to tackle one thing at a time. There's no race for connecting with your father. There's no time limit for connecting with him. You got to do it when you feel good and well to do it, because it is going to be a doozy for you. Okay. And it may be one that takes time. It may not even be something right away. It might take time to finally figure out where he is or how you can connect with him. But I feel like you need to be in a better place yourself, be more whole, be more grounded. And then of course your relationship with your mom matters too. Okay. So thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, my love. I hope that you enjoyed your readings. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you took notes. And anyone, if you guys made it to the very end of this, or actually no one's going to get to the end of this because you requested that this is private. So don't worry about that. Scratch that. But I hope you took notes. And if you have any questions, send me an email and I will respond as soon as I can. But thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, my love. I will talk to you later. Bye.